Was this the start of faulty retirement planning? I don't know. I don't know. And I read a lot of books about retirement. Trust me, a lot of books. And I read history. I got books from, like, I'm reading Peter Drucker right now from 1975. Just got done reading The Paradox of Debt, which is a relatively new book by my man Richard Vague, more about monetary policy. But then I read the History of Retirement by William Graeber, which came out in 1978. But it's really the income replacement ratios that started about 1986, and I'll share with you this in just a second, that seems to have been the kind of fundamental issue of most retirement in the contemporary era, if that makes sense. You know, looking at the old stuff, I'm not coming across that much in retirement replacement ratios, just not, relative to where we are now. And it's been like this since basically 1986, and I think this is where the 4% rule came in and all this other stuff in 1994, the Trinity study in 1997 and whatnot. I think this is where the basis is flawed, frankly, is in terms of the income replacement ratios in retirement planning. Because it's just not based on any real life scenarios. It's just not. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So here we're looking at this study from the Georgia State University Aon, and they every year or 2 years they put this out. I'm just looking at 2008 because I don't know, whatever, I just pulled it up. And it's the Georgia State University here in downtown Atlanta and the Aon Insurance Company. They have no skin in the game. Retire Project Report, and we're going to show you what this is here. This is the 7th periodic report on the Georgia State University Aon Retirement Project, whose initial report was issued in 1988. The Retire Project is an ongoing research activity. The primary focus is on the important question of how much income is needed at retirement to continue a person's pre-retirement standard of living into retirement. How much income is needed at retirement in order to continue a person's pre-retirement standard of living into retirement? And the problem that I have with this is there's two completely different people. There's pre-retirees and post-retirees. These are not the same people. Josh pre-retirement and Josh post-retirement are not the same people. And they're assuming they are. And the evidence of this is just, and they actually even use a BLS consumer expenditure survey, which I talk about in my book here. And it's just not the same group of people. I cannot stress this enough. They're assuming that the Josh, while I'm working, making money, I'm going to need that same level of income, essentially minus taxes. I'll show you here in just a second, when I'm retired. And the evidence is just not there. It's just not. And the reason is frankly obvious. Because you're spending, once you're on, and I hate to say fixed income because no one's on a fixed income. Social Security certainly isn't a fixed income. But once you change your mindset from receiving income from employment to receiving income from assets that you're spending down, it changes everything. There's such a fundamental mind shift there. And to assume that the same guy is going to spend the same amount of money pre-retirement as it does post-retirement, when you're just, everything changes. It's just not, there's no basis of this. And yet this is what the whole 4% rule, and we're going to spend each and every year adjusted for inflation. We need 80% pre-retirement income. And this is where I think it came from. In fact, I know this is where it came from. The Georgia State Aon study. Now, I don't know if Georgia State University was back in 1986, which is when this first started. I don't know if this was out there. It's, Georgia State is growing now in downtown Atlanta. It's an urban area, urban school. It's it's rough down there for sure. Georgia Tech is just a couple blocks north of Midtown. Rough, not as rough as downtown, that's for sure. But Georgia State's a legit building. If you're driving down, I drive by all the time. For some reason, I'm going to the airport. It seems like every day, and I just want to jump off a bridge. But you'll see a big sign, a big building that says Georgia State University. Sadly, one of the letters is out, and it says Georgia S8 University. The T or something like that's out. And I'm like, oh my goodness! It just kind of shows you the downfall of urban America. Frankly, is a symptom of the downfall of urban America, where the Georgia State University signage is missing a letter or something like that. Blah. Anyway, but if you're going to go to Georgia State, I have no problem with that. Just remember, it's an urban area for sure. Like Temple, South. Is Temple South Philly or is that North Philly? Can't remember. But anyway, Temple, you know what I'm saying? It's no different than Virginia Commonwealth University, where I actually taught CFP. Did I do 2 classes there, or 1 or 2? I think I did 2. I think I did 2 semesters. I can't remember, but I know I did. Yeah, I think I did. I think I went down there for 2 semesters or 2 classes. This is back in 2005. I drive from Dayton, Virginia, where we lived. Actually, I drive from my work in Harrisonburg, Virginia, every Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah, I think I had 2 classes to VCU to teach a course on insurance of all things for the CFP course. And as an adjutant, they paid me like $3,000. Not too shabby back there, and I needed the money, man. Anyway, so I don't know where this idea came up that post-retirement you need an equivalent level of income as pre-retirement. And I'll show you here, because where they get that is, it's just as weird to me. But I like the study, I like the report. I just think it's faulty. It's faulty, no other way around that. And I wonder how many people have not retired based on faulty information. So here, we're going to look at a $90,000 income guy. Now, we got a married couple, one, that'd be old buddy Josh. I'm married, one age worker. I'm 65 years old. My wife, that's me and Shar right there. All right, so I'm making 90,000 bones. And again, this is 2008. It doesn't matter. Of that, I pay $7,000 in state tax, or Social Security taxes, $10,000 feds, $2,000 in the state of Georgia. So I'm making $71,000 pre-retirement after-tax income. All right, but I'm putting some money away in my 401k. All right, so when all is said and done, income needed for post-retirement consumption is $65,000. But I still got some retirement taxes to pay because I still have taxes. So I need $69,000 of income post-retirement to replace my $90,000 pre-retirement income. And that's just wrong. And then if you're at $20,000, you actually need, so I need 78%. So Josh and Charlotte need 78% of our pre-retirement income. And if you look at here, pre-retirement salary, if I'm only making 20, I need 94% of that. And again, it's just faulty information. It assumes that this income right here on the top is what drives my spending, but it's not in terms of maintaining my standard of living. But it has no clue what my standard of living are. Remember, we're always going to spend to the extent of our income, always. It's just a fact. We're always going to spend to the extent of our income. And some people spend less, I grant you. Some people spend more. But generally speaking, you're going to set up your mortgage. You're going to set up your car payment. You're going to set up your bills knowing I got $100,000 coming in. You'll say, I will spend to $100,000, minus tax and all that. But once your spending goes down, guess what? You're going to say, okay, I got $50,000 coming in. I'm going to set up my bills to spend for the equivalent of $50,000. And why would my income go down? Well, because I'm no longer working. Well, how can your spending go down? Because my mortgage is paid off. I downside my house. My kids are out of the house. Remember, if I'm making $90,000, I didn't just wake up making $90,000. I was making 85, 80, all that stuff before. You know what I'm saying? And all that is when I had kids, mortgage, car loans, student loans, all that stuff. And I like to take vacations with the kids, all that. As you get older, a lot of that stuff goes away. You still might want to take vacations, but they're looking at your retirement expenditure needs as basically the high 3 essentially of your total earnings. You're like, I'm making $90,000 now, but I wasn't making that before, and I was getting by fine. Yes, I'm spending more when I have $90,000 of income, I grant you. But when I had $40,000 of income, I spent less, and we're still got 3 hots and a cot. We're still living fine. And I had a mortgage. Now I don't have a mortgage. So now when I'm making $90,000, my kids are out of the house, my mortgage is paid off, freaking we're eating ribeye every day. You know what I'm saying? I'm lighting cigars with $100 bills. The minute that income spigot turns off, I'll go back to not lighting cigars with $100 bills and not eating ribeye every day. And I'll be fine. And just going back to my man Richard, it's just so faulty, and people have run with this as if it's freaking God's word. It's not. And Frederick Vitesse, The Essential Retirement Guide, a Contrarian's Perspective hardcover. Retirement planning is difficult enough without having to contend with the bits of information. All right, and this is such a good book. This is an actuary, not a financial planner, an actuary. Much of the advice that is dispensed is either unsubstantiated or betrays a strong vested interest, 100%. Saving 10% a year is not as bad a rule of thumb if you could follow it, but there will be times when you cannot do so. Most people never spend more than 50% of their gross income on themselves before retirement, hence their retirement income target is usually much less than 70%. Yep. 100% here, man. Interest rates will certainly stay low for the next 20 years. Oh my goodness, he was wrong. They're going to be going low again. Trust me. He wrote this before the stupid pandemic. Anyway, and it's just such a. I wonder if I put a. I hope I reviewed this in here because if I didn't, I'd be mad because this is a great book. Let's see, real buddy Josh is in here. Top reviews 2020. It should come as good news that the industry may be wrong. 100%. Mostly solid general advice with a few weak spots. Confidence retire now. Look at my man Lawrence Lee. Confidence retire now. 100%. A financial planning book focused on middle income or upper income workers. Okay. Good information on things that are really important. Retirement. Yep. Glad I read it. Says that guy. AG Biggs. Is based on the best academic research and we have a very different story. To I don't know what he's saying there. Did I not review this thing? Oh boy, I'm usually pretty good at reviewing stuff. That guy gave a pretty good thing on it. Waste of money. Way too many actuary numbers and far too little application. Nothing if you're a middle or low income. There are a lot better books out there. No, if you're middle income, this book is for you. So Lisa, what's her name? Lisa Keenan, get out of here, man. Excellent book for those planning for the retirement, 100%. I guess I didn't review it. Anyway, get that book. I'll put the link in the show notes. And this is the beginning of the faulty retirement planning assumptions. Is the Aon study. I hope this makes sense. I cannot stress this enough. Just because you have a certain threshold of income now does not mean you need that certain threshold of income later on when you're retired. It just doesn't. It's not based on reality. Anyway, love your thoughts. God bless. Don't forget to sign up to the email list down below. I haven't emailed in about a month, so I'll probably do it this weekend, as a matter of fact. But we'll see you live stream tomorrow, Saturday night on YouTube. God bless.